2021 WWE Elimination Chamber. I always love the intro videos for Elimination Chamber because they always show the making and the structuring of the chamber itself, which has obviously changed over the years, but still a really cool sight to see. Good video package, good song behind it. Solid so far. That's from last year. That was actually in Philadelphia. My brother and I were there right before the quarantine hit. And that was actually a horrible pay-per-view. They did such a good job on the Thunderdome. Like every other television show that has attempted anything with the virtual audience does not compare to this. Like at first glance, this looks like an actual arena. Like they did a fantastic job. It seemed like by the end of the kickoff show that we were going to start, the Smackdown Elimination Chamber. I actually really like this because it makes Roman a heel even more so. The fact that he refused to compete in the chamber, which he shouldn't have to. They should be competing to fight him, which is what they're doing. And they're doing the match not at WrestleMania, but right here, right now. Ugh. Starting things off with Kevin Owens, the irrepressible. Like they're fucking irritating. More like it. Welcome to Zach the Ripper Comics, professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast. Zach the Ripper Comics. If you're just now joining the live stream, I'm doing an actual watch along with WWE Elimination Chamber. Setup is a little bit different, so if there's any issues, I apologize in advance. If any of you notice that some audio's off or video's off or whatever, feel free to let me know. If you have WWE Network fired up, Elimination Chamber, we'll do a watch along. We, of course, have our poller. Here comes Sami Zayn, who I despise, flanked by his cameraman, Andrew Steele, former DCW Dynamite Championship Wrestling Grand Slam champion. You can actually find footage on YouTube of me kicking his ass. The match isn't wrong. Ugh. Good old boring Corbin. I did not miss this guy. Horrible. Sami Zayn claiming an injustice because his film crew was thrown out. Who cares? Boring Corbin. It seems like he's slowly going back to the lone wolf gimmick, which was much better than the King garbage. But still has a long ways to go. Jey Uso has been absolutely on fire since last summer when initially starting the program with Roman Reigns after Roman's heel turn. Excited to see him in a singles capacity in the Elimination Chamber tonight. So far, you have a story you can tell with Kevin Owens if Kevin Owens is able to win because he's feuded with and fought Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship on multiple pay-per-views. Jey Uso did that just a few months ago, but he's aligned with Roman now, so that would be interesting if he won. Sami Zayn, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? He's there to take some bumps. And now we go to a video package. Which I absolutely don't find necessary because it's the same footage that we just saw in the opening of the show. But okay. Pound and Polar, Black Cherry tonight. The Uso Roman story is so captivating. I wish they had a live audience to really do it. To really do it justice. What do you guys think of Roman Reigns in his new persona since the return at SummerSlam? His physique looks fantastic. His character work has been phenomenal. You can tell that he's wanted this for a long time after going through the hell that the WWE universe put him through for his entire babyface run. And we'll be starting the match with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, who've had some competition on Smackdown in recent weeks, formed a tag team recently. Cesaro's making that babyface turn. Really feels like Daniel Bryan's trying to get Cesaro to that spot before he rides off into the sunset. And again, if you're just joining, we are doing a live watch along of WWE Elimination Chamber. I have you guys on my screen here, and I have the pay-per-view on my screen here. Cesaro is making his entrance. If you are not watching, we are still in the opening matches entrances. It is the SmackDown Elimination Chamber where the winner goes on later tonight to fight Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Pretty exciting stipulations there, if you do ask me. We will be starting with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan, which should be good. As always, we're Pound and Polar. What do you guys think of Daniel Bryan's haircut? Cesaro's tights are horrible. I feel like I'm going to have a... I think I just had it. I feel like I was going to have like... Well, CTE, that's what happens. Completely lose train of thought. Strong lockup. And if you're just joining, this is Zach the Ripper Comics. I'm doing a live watch along with you guys on my screen here and WWE Elimination Chamber on my screen right here. I will be talking about it. If you're unable to watch it on the WWE Network, do not worry. I will give you full results as they happen. So spoiler alert, if you do not want to know the results, you should probably not hang out. Yeah, Cesaro's tights are messing my eyes up. If you do join this live stream, feel free to jump into the chat. I am actively participating in it. If anybody does any super chats, all super chats are always acknowledged by me. You do not have to worry about that. I do not ignore them. I know what that's like, and it sucks. Both these guys have tremendous European uppercuts. Oof. That would have blown a normal guy's knees out, but Cesaro is an absolute machine. Big knee from the top. These guys are good. Entertaining to watch. The only thing that sucks is that they don't have a character. Like, what's Cesaro's character? No elimination so far. Still with the first two being Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Tony joined the chat. Must be my son. Tights. Bald. Oh, Hurricane Rana blocked from the top rope. Cesaro going for... Oh, Hurricane Rana anyhow from the top rope. Good stuff. Rikishi bump from Daniel Bryan's always good. Tony, how you doing, buddy? I see more people coming in. If you're late joining, this is the live stream watch along of WWE Elimination Chamber. Obviously, I cannot show you the footage or this channel would be striked. But I will be doing spoilers and everything. I will be talking about it as we're watching. So if you don't want to know what happens, then please leave. Otherwise, throw on the WWE Network if you have it. Put it on in the background. Hang out in the chat. Any super chats from you guys will be acknowledged. I'm not one of those guys that ignores it, so I just wanted to let you know. Right now, we're starting with the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match. The winner of this Elimination Chamber will go on later tonight to fight Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. This is the first of two chamber matches. The other one is for the WWE Championship held by Drew McIntyre. Nice. As you know, with Zach the Ripper Comics, we do video games also. Tony in the chat says he and his wife are loving Super Mario Brothers 3D World for the Nintendo Switch. I played the original Super Mario 3D World. Did I say that right? Yeah, whatever. On the Wii U, love the game. Would have been better with traditional controls. And then the new one has that expansion that they added on, Bowser's Fury. Looks awesome. Thumbs up from Tony in the chat. Love the cat power up. Yeah, the cat suit's pretty cool. I like that. Pound and Polar tonight. Stalling suplex from Cesaro. Walking around the ring with Daniel Bryan. There's the bump. We are 21 minutes into this pay-per-view, and we're finally getting a second entrant into the first chamber match, the first match on the pay-per-view. That is a little ridiculous. And the third participant is Boring Corbin. Tony's rocking raspberry lime. Must be his polar. We also have the official Zach the Ripper Comics mug, which you can find on the Teespring store, located in the description right down here. There's some good stuff in there, which I'll just be sipping on throughout the night. Why don't we turn that around for advertising purposes? It's good stuff. The orange vanilla, I don't think I've had. Is that are you getting it in the 1 liter Jones? I've never seen it other than that, but I don't think I've had it. Cesaro taking both men out. Makes sense. He's the heel. He's coming in fresh. Got to get his shit off. I still find myself flinching every time Daniel Bryan takes some really close bumps on his head and neck. Two deep sixes, one on Cesaro, one on Bryan. Cover. Kick out at 2. 8-pack Jones. So it's the cans then. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe they extended the pod times, because this is just so long for each person. I thought it used to be 2 minutes. Is it 5 now? Dorks. Extended it. Sami Zayn upset that they're near his pod. Tony will remember in the chat. Do you remember Christian's pod from that chamber match? That was like 10 years ago, by the way. Dream Vodka joining the chat says, man, what is the channel you're looking? Dream Vodka, I am actually watching on the WWE Network. I cannot show the footage, unfortunately, as I would get a copyright strike on YouTube from WWE. If you have the network, feel free to tune it on. I am live. Tune it on. Tune in, turn it on. I am live watching right now. Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, the 3 men in the ring in the opening match. It's the chamber in which the winner will fight Roman Reigns for the Universal title later tonight. No one's been eliminated yet, and those 3 are the only ones in so far. If you don't have WWE Network, feel free to hang out. I'll be talking about the pay-per-view all night long. We can talk about anything else. Just hang out. Any super chats, I tell everybody, are acknowledged. I do not ignore anybody. If for some reason I do not catch your super chat, please let me know and I will reiterate it. The intervals between these pods opening is way too long. 26 minutes in. What was your first Photoshop gimmick? Who's next in the pod? Drum roll. The light totally stopped on Kevin Owens. They cut to a close camera of Sami Zayn, who looked like he didn't know what the hell was going on. His light was not on, but somehow Sami Zayn's the guy that's coming in next. Tony says, I went down a rabbit hole after the Mortal Kombat trailer and was watching some terrible Annihilation clips, and your fake evil laugh sounds just like Shao Kahn. He is horrible in that movie. He does this all the time. Annihilation had some awesome like martial arts, but when it came to the actual acting and the costuming, really, really bad. It's a shame. I still say to this day that the first Mortal Kombat movie holds up. There's a couple bad CGI things like Reptile and stuff, but as a movie and its easy storytelling ability, it holds up. Didn't you and I see that in the movies? 95? I thought so. So who do you guys in the chat think is going to win this chamber match? No elimination so far. Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso. As a reminder, the winner of this chamber will fight Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship later tonight. You'd instinctively think that it would be a babyface. So that's Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Cesaro. They've told a tremendous story with Jey Uso, who was a babyface but turned heel to fall in line with the mafia-esque family bloodline story that they're doing with Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan's a crowd favorite, but they don't have to please a live crowd because there isn't one. Daniel Bryan stopped on the top rope by Baron Corbin. Still no eliminations. We are 30 minutes into this pay-per-view. 30 minutes into the first match. I said this earlier, if you've just joined, I feel like the chamber matches are too long now. Wow. Too long now? The intervals between pods opening is way too long. It's 5 minutes. Used to be 2. Sami Zayn climbing. Nope. Going after Cesaro. Cesaro launches him on top of the pod. Dream Vodka, Drew McIntyre versus You Don't Know. Well, pick one. What do you think? Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Daniel Bryan, Baron Corbin. Oh, Drew McIntyre. Sorry, I had the wrong match, Dream Vodka. McIntyre's defending the WWE Championship in his Hell in a Cell match later tonight against all former WWE champions. Cesaro's tights are giving me a headache. I hate them. Sami Zayn is trying to climb the chamber to get away from Cesaro. They're now both on the scaffolding portion of the chamber. Yeah, McIntyre absolutely blew up. He looks absolutely phenomenal, and he's been, their baby face for the past year. I'll say this. Exactly. He got fired when he was in, was it 3 Count? Not 3 Count. What the hell? 3MB. And he looked like a walking douche. Got on the indies, gassed up, came back, looks amazing. Top guy. Dream Vodka. Sammy, he's afraid. Yeah, he is. Dream Vodka, did you find a way to watch the pay-per-view? Do you have the network, or are you looking elsewhere? You know what I mean? Official Zach the Ripper Comics mug. There's some juicy goodness in that. And then we also have some Polar. Oh, sloppy. Come on. Cesaro off the top. Top rope corkscrew European uppercut. That should have been a finish. Looks like he's going for the Cesaro swing on Baron Corbin, which I can't watch because it triggers migraines. Drew McIntyre should try the Aaron cocktail. Gas up on creatine with maybe some rum in there too. Sharpshooter on Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin taps out to the sharpshooter. Cesaro eliminates somebody. Baron Corbin is the first one eliminated. That genuinely excited me. Good job, WWE. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who's next in? It's either going to be Jey Uso or Kevin Owens. Your friend told you Sammy was afraid. Yeah, Sammy's been running away this whole match. Kevin Owens is the next one in. Sami Zayn's trying to form an alliance with him, as these two used to be best friends. Dream Vodka, I think Sammy's about to get stunned. What do you think, bud? And Owens turns on Zayn. Solid stiff clothesline. Dream Vodka wants to see a Stone Cold Stunner from Kevin Owens. I don't want to see anything from Kevin Owens except maybe some cardio, but if you like stunners, then hey, I'm sure you're going to get some in this match. Step up Insecure. It's called a Shining Wizard. Daniel Bryan taking a ton of head and neck bumps in this match. Jolts my insides every time. Referee immediately checking on him, though. What if during the next entrance there was just the glass breaking and Austin's theme song? I would mark the fuck out. Well, I think all 9,000 of the Thunderdome fans that are on repeat, by the way, would mark the fuck out. Speaking of the Thunderdome fans, here's something that you guys probably do not know. is that the Thunderdome crowd sound, the cheering, the booing, the chanting, all of that is only heard as for us, the viewer. The wrestlers inside the Thunderdome do not hear anything. It's complete silence in that arena, minus the noises that they're making and the announcers. That's why WWE has done an overload of non-microphone promos, getting close up, listening to the wrestlers as if we're a fly on the wall, because there's no actual crowd noise in the background to duck that down. What? Dumb it down. Do you think The Fiend can do his return? I honestly think this is the night for a Fiend return. However, I think we'll get a tease and then a return on a Monday Night Raw to help Raw's numbers out. It's got to be so weird wrestling without a crowd. It is very weird. Unfortunately, I've done that. I actually wrestled Chris Wilde in a bar in Delaware. No fans, because the company never advertised. They never advertised anything. They asked us wrestlers to go stand on the highway outside of this bar with signs about wrestling, and we did not do that. We did get paid. We put on a hell of a match. I believe it was a Falls Count Anywhere, since there was nobody in the building. I beat up the Blue Meanie, so sorry, Bryan. And the Blue Weenie was discovered that night. Who would have known? See, we are now 38 minutes into this pay-per-view, into the first match, and we still have one more entrant to come in. It's just taking way too long. The one thing I'll give Kevin Owens is that since he returned last year, he's been wearing wrestling boots again. I respect guys that, wear wrestling boots when they're a wrestler. Take a sip of our goodness. This is the official Zach the Ripper Comics mug, which you can find at the Teespring store in the description below. And then we chase it with some Polar. It may be a bad decision. I don't know. We're going to find out. Final entrant. We know who it is. It's Jey Uso coming in with a cartoony scowl on his face. I put this guy over earlier, and then he decides to look like an idiot. All right, Dream Vodka is solidly picking Owens. So, Dream Vodka, if Kevin Owens wins, which is your opinion, do you think he will beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship tonight? Or do you think that Roman Reigns will retain if your pick, Kevin Owens, wins the chamber match? Corey Graves says, otherworldly offense from Kevin Owens. Otherworldly. As he's throwing him into the pod, which happens in every pod match or every chamber match. And it's already happened in this match earlier. Otherworldly. Thanks, Corey Graves. Former DCW Women's Champion, Jessie K, officiating this match from the floor. The only one that's been eliminated so far is Boring Corbin, excuse me. I do like that Jey Uso has grown a mullet. Reminds me of his pops from 25 years ago. Kevin Owens with a moonsault off the top of the pod onto everybody. Everybody's just magically standing there waiting for him. It's the worst spot in professional wrestling. Dream Vodka is picking Kevin Owens to win the chamber and then go on to beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship here tonight. There's a stunner, Dream Vodka. Stunner on Daniel Bryan. Stunner on Cesaro. Kevin Owens rolling into the ring. No sells the haluva kick. Stunner on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's been eliminated by Kevin Owens. Dream Vodka, you might be onto something here tonight with your pick of Kevin Owens. Oh, Jey Uso shut the chamber door, which now slides instead of opens outward, right onto Kevin Owens' arm. That looked good. Dream Vodka does not like Roman Reigns. What don't you like about Roman Reigns, Dream Vodka? 3 super kicks, 4 super kicks from Jey Uso onto a prone Kevin Owens, who rolls back into the ring. 5th super kick. Why? Like, why? Why? Top rope, Samoan splash. Pin him. Pin him. 2, 3. Kevin Owens is eliminated. Dream Vodka. Kevin Owens is eliminated from the chamber match. Sorry, buddy. Uso's top rope, Samoan splash, always looks badass. Tony says, of course, Kevin Owens rolls back into the ring. Yeah, he's not walking. He's rolling. Yeah, sorry, Dream Vodka. So we are down to Cesaro, Jey Uso, and Daniel Bryan. Cesaro's tights are so bad. I can't properly explain the design, but with modern TVs, it just hurts my eyes. Tonight, we need at least a return. I agree, Dream Vodka. I do think we need a return. It's WrestleMania season. I think there's one more pay-per-view after this before WrestleMania, which is way too many in between the Rumble and WrestleMania. Cesaro's swing on Jey Uso into the chamber. That's vicious, but not Sid Vicious. But I agree. We need a return. Should be The Fiend. The Fiend should return, and we should get some kind of an Edge appearance tonight. What is with my nose? Must be an itch. For those of you watching live, I appreciate it very much. If you did not yet see it, I posted a video on the channel concerning the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships being retired by WWE. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But however, being a professional wrestler, being in the professional wrestling business, having worked for WWE, I have sources, you might say, and I wouldn't trust anything 100% until you see it on television, but this one seems like it's very probable. Check that video out. You might have some good laughs in there also. Daniel Bryan's firing up on Cesaro. 46 minutes in, still in the first match. Way too long. Dream Vodka, we have this pay-per-view after is WrestleMania, after Extreme Rules, after Backlash, I think, and other pay-per-views, but I don't know. So there isn't another one in between the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania? Wasn't there like a roadblock or something like that, or a fast lane? One of those? Or did they do away with that? Daniel Bryan firing up. Cesaro going for the gory bomb, reversed. Yes kicks. Bryan's going to the top. Feel like this is going to backfire and Cesaro is going to nail him with something. Pin him 1, 2, 3. Come down to Cesaro and Jay. Cesaro with the uppercut. Whew. These European uppercuts. Is Lauren in here? I don't think Lauren's in here. Lauren knows a thing or two about European uppercuts. Dream Vodka, you're from Belgium. My first Belgium subscriber. Well, welcome from Belgium. What time is it there in Belgium right now? And what is your preferred waffle? Hopefully it's a Belgian waffle. Gutbuster from the top rope. Shades of Dean Malenko and Rey Mysterio. From Cesaro onto Daniel Bryan. Cesaro going for the swing of the sharpshooter. Going for a single leg swing on the injured leg. Good spot. I like that. Super kick from Jey Uso. Jey goes to the top, going for the Samoan splash. Hits it on Cesaro. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro is eliminated. It's down to Jey and Daniel Bryan. Jey's immediately going to the top to hit the Samoan splash on Daniel Bryan. Is he going to hit it? He does. 1, 2, kick out. We're down. Dream Vodka, Tony, the final. Yup, we're down to Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan. "50 minutes into the match. Pounding Polar Seltzer. Dream Vodka, do you have Polar Seltzer in Belgium? Seltzer water? Flavor? Jey Uso climbing the chamber. On top of the pod. Is he going to go for a Samoan splash from the top of the pod? He is. And he gets caught. Daniel Bryan put the knees up. Running knee from Daniel Bryan. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan's your winner. You do not have that. Okay. You don't have seltzer water at all? It's like club soda or tonic water. It's carbonated water. And then they have flavoring. No sugar, no calories. So Daniel Bryan won. Daniel Bryan advances to fight Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship here tonight at the 51-minute mark. Great match, just too long. Cut like 15 minutes out of that. Just let it boom, 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 boom. I'd be there until the end of the live. Nice. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, Dream Vodka, subscribe to the channel. I do a ton of wrestling stuff. I have videos of me, myself, wrestling, guys like D'Lo Brown and Devon Dudley. And there's also a lot of things around comic books and video games. I cover a barrage of nerd culture, basically. The chamber's raising. Again, a very cool sight. When you see that chamber in person, very ominous. scary, imposing. Let's take a sip from the official Zach the Ripper Comics mug, which you can find at the Teespring store with the link in the description below. Showing replays after we just saw everything happen. That's always annoyed me. Oh, here comes Roman Reigns. It doesn't look like we're doing the match later tonight. Looks like we are going to do the match right now. Here comes the head of the table himself, the tribal chief, the universal champion, managed by Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns. I still cannot stand that all of the championship belts are now a Velcro. I did not stutter or say the wrong word. It's Velcro. They still physically have the snaps on the outside, but there's no snaps on the inside, so the belts don't snap anymore. They're all Velcro, and they sound horrible, and they look horrible. The modern-day Maharaja, man, I'd love if he returned tonight. He's been gone for like a year. Really kind of disappeared after his WWE Championship run. One of my favorite championship runs of the last decade. Paul Heyman has the greatest facials. He and Vince and Regal have like the best facials ever. Ooh, that hurt. Roman Reigns immediately went for a spear. Daniel Bryan turned it into the yes lock. Roman's in the yes lock. There you go. Roman Reigns completely breaks free of the yes lock, hammering away with vicious forearms and punches into Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns will fight now. Yep. Roman Reigns is fighting now, Dream Vodka. Roman versus Daniel Bryan right here, right now for the Universal Championship. A lot of people wanted this as their WrestleMania match, and you're getting it now a month early. Powerbomb from Roman Reigns. Duh. Roman's lacking his tan. Tony, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Anytime my patrons can jump on a live chat, I very much appreciate it. If you'd like to join the Patreon of Zach the Ripper Comics to get tons of free stuff, free merchandise, you can see a Zach the Ripper Comics mask in the background. There's a mug. There's tons of t-shirts on there. I have new ones on the way coming to me right now that will be showing off sometime soon. I very much appreciate it. The link for Patreon is in the description below. Daniel Bryan just passed out in the, what is that, a guillotine choke? Roman Reigns still Universal Champion. Dream Vodka, we're tired of seeing Roman Reigns with the title. Excuse me. You're tired of seeing Roman with the title. I'm actually enjoying Roman with the title, to be honest with you. I like Roman's ring work. His body looks fantastic. His promos have been better since the heel turn, and I think he's a natural unlikable guy as far as the charisma that he comes off. Obviously, Roman is a great, fantastic human being, but the faces he makes, and he doesn't even realize it, the swagger that he has, it's all very, very bad guyish. And I think this is a great role for him. Vodka, what do you think about the possibility of Edge choosing to fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Edge versus Roman at WrestleMania 37 for the Universal Championship? Never before, ever, has that match happened. Spear on Roman from Edge out of nowhere. Edge pointing at the WrestleMania sign. Edge came out of nowhere, speared Roman Reigns out of his boots, pointed to the WrestleMania sign. I think it's pretty obvious. Edge, yeah. Edge has chosen Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship to target at WrestleMania 37 live in Raymond James Stadium. Yeah, this is good stuff. Edge wants a fight. Absolutely, Edge wants a fight. He made it clear that he is choosing Roman Reigns, Edge versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37 for the Universal Championship. We'll do a little cheers action to that. Zach the Ripper Comics mug. And then some Polar. Vodka, you drinking anything over there? You drinking vodka? Eating any snacks? Advertisement for the WWE Network. Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. Most recent episode, Sasha Banks. So we are just over an hour into this live stream into WWE Elimination Chamber. We've had two official matches. The Smackdown Chamber that Daniel Bryan won, lastly defeating Jey Uso. Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, immediately comes out demanding his match with Daniel Bryan. He's able to choke him out for the submission victory. If any of you watching did not know, Keith Lee has been replaced in the United States Championship match. He is apparently out with an injury. I don't like to see anybody injured, but I do like when Keith Lee's not on my television. John Morrison won a four-way on the kickoff show to replace him. So it'll be John Morrison, Riddle, and Bobby Lashley in a three-way for the United States Championship that I honestly could care less about. Both the championship and the match. Spear versus Spear at WrestleMania. Yeah, man. If you remember, Edge was forced to retire in 2011. Roman Reigns made his main roster debut in the Shield in 2012. Dream Vodka, what does Belgium think of Bad Bunny? I've never heard of this cat. I absolutely despised his performance at Royal Rumble. Now he's the 24/7 champion. I get it. They want the exposure, but at what cost? At what cost? And here's Bad Bunny here. Aaron is in the chat. Another patron. Aaron, Tony was here. He bowed out. That's two patrons of Zach the Ripper Comics that have shown up here tonight. It's damaged that Dean Ambrose is no longer a WWE. Yeah, Dean Ambrose, I liked him also. He is gone. He's John Moxley now in AEW and a couple other places. Dream Vodka, do you watch AEW wrestling? Yeah, so what we're doing right now, for those of you that just joined, I am doing a live watch along with WWE Elimination Chamber. I cannot show you any footage for copyright purposes. Over here, I have you guys. I have the chat. If anybody joins in, I will be giving spoilers as I'm watching this live. If you don't want spoilers, you might not want to hang out. For everybody else, hang out. Turn on the WWE Network. Watch along with us. If you don't have it, hang out in the chat. Throw some super chats up. Anybody that super chats, I will give you a shout out. So far, we've had 2 matches. That's right. An hour and 3 minutes in, 2 matches. The Smackdown Chamber, Daniel Bryan won to earn an immediate championship match with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns choked out Daniel Bryan. Edge returned, speared Roman Reigns. So we now have, for the first time ever, Edge versus Roman Reigns, spear versus spear at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. That is huge, and that is a proper WrestleMania main event, in my opinion. Matt Riddle coming out in a Evil Knievel Daredevil tribute outfit that just looks horrendous, but of course, you have a little bit of AEW. Okay. Tonight we have some juice in the old Zach the Ripper Comics mug, which you can find in the description below at our Teespring store. And then we chase it with a little Polar. If you join, feel free to hit up the live chat. We're just hanging out. We're talking. For the remainder of the pay-per-view, we have some drinks. We have some snacks. Let me know what you guys are drinking, what you guys are eating. We're just going to hang out, watch some wrestling. So this is the United States Championship match, originally a 3-way between champion Bobby Lashley, challengers Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. They claim that Keith Lee was not medically cleared to compete as he suffered an injury. Not sure exactly what's up there, but we do know that his absolutely horrendous fiance has on the outs few months now with WWE. So he was replaced by John Morrison, who won a Fatal 4-Way on the kickoff show earlier this evening. Does not make the match any more appealing, in my opinion. Hopefully it goes quick. Imagine we have a fight of Reigns versus The Fiend versus the Goldberg. Is this possible? I absolutely think it's possible. Goldberg has 2 more matches left on his contract with WWE, so it's absolutely possible that you could get that. That is a huge 3-way match. Maybe throw Braun Strowman in there, make it a 4-way, and just reinforce that ring. What do you think? Heather Klein's here. How are you, Heather? Heather Klein, I was just talking earlier about Andrew Steele of DCW, who's in WWE. Jesse Carr, the female official who's been in WWE, former DCW champions. And we have Heather Klein, co-owner of Dynamite Championship Wrestling out of Delaware. Go check out dcwprowrestling.com. The United States champion, Bobby Lashley, on his way to the ring. I like that he switched to the long tights. At first, I was not big on it, but he's making them work. Looks good. MVP legitimately injured right now. Matt Riddle, just a douchebag. Yeah, it was funny. It's a shame that Bobby Lashley has been United States champion for 175 days and has not done anything in that time. And I'm not saying it's Bobby Lashley's fault. Bobby Lashley is a tremendous performer, not a good speaker, but he has MVP with him. It's just that they fed him absolute trash, like this match here. This match is absolute trash. I don't care if somebody likes Matt Riddle or if somebody likes John Morrison. There's nothing appealing about it. You can't put this on a poster and expect people to buy a pay-per-view with this. I hope that Lashley just annihilates these two guys and moves on to an eventual match with Brock Lesnar. And for those of you that might have just joined, again, I am doing a live stream tonight of WWE Elimination Chamber. It is over here on this screen. I cannot show it for copyright purposes. Over here on this screen, I have you guys. I have the chat. Up here right in front of me, I have some juicy goodness. And that is in the official Zach the Ripper Comics mug. And then we chase it with some Polar. And we're all just hanging out. If you're able to throw the WWE Network on, throw it on, put it in the background, hang out in the chat. If you throw up any super chats, I very much appreciate it, and I'm humbled by it, and I will give you a shout out and read your super chats live. Dream Vodka, excuse me, but I'll leave my friend pass his WWE Network subscription. Oh, there you go. Okay. So now you're able to turn it on and check it out. So we're in the United States Championship match. Again, I don't really care too much about it, but I know you're over in Belgium. You wanted to watch the show, so get that tuned on. Let me know when you're on. Sync it up. We are live right now. Lashley physically dominating both men so far, as he should. Heather likes the new U.S. title. I do not. I think it looks like a toy, which is the point. Unfortunately, we don't make championships anymore. We make toys, but I get it because they make a ton of money off of them. The previous U.S. title was a good design, but my personal favorite is the first Lex Luger U.S. Championship design. Dream Vodka, have a good one, bud. Enjoy the pay-per-view. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit me back anytime on any of my social media. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate that. Bobby Lashley's a monster. The dude has never not looked good. Aaron, what's your beverage and snack choice right now? I'm rocking some juice, which I will not show you in there, in the Zach the Ripper Comics mug. And then we chase it with Polar. Nothing at the moment. What kind of a life is that? You have not lived unless you are drinking and snacking with Zach the Ripper Comics. Bobby Lashley completely just tossing these fools around as he should. Just mauling them. The pay-per-view hasn't been bad so far. It's just that everything's too long. Hour and 11 minutes in. We're only into the third match. Just too long. Just finished watching American Pie 2. Actually enjoyable because I understand everything now. Yeah, that would have came out in what, like 2002? And you were a little too young? Yeah, the first two were great movies. Everything after that is garbage, 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 garbage. Yeah, the first was 99. That's what I thought. Yeah, good movie. Those first two. Number one trend worldwide is WWE Chamber. So I talked about this in one of my videos last week. If everybody at the same time sees the screen, it says number one trend worldwide WWE Chamber, hashtag WWE Chamber, and you type that into Twitter, everybody does it at the same exact time, it's going to be the most trending topic. So if it's not and they're just lying, it gets everybody to actually make it the top trending topic. Smart move from WWE, and I see sports do it a lot where they say that, you know, they're the number one trend, and they usually are. But yeah, it creates the trend. Absolutely. Smart move. I don't know what is bothering my nose so much tonight, so I apologize that I keep having to touch it. Riddle and Morrison teaming up on Bobby Lashley. This match has been very smartly booked. I will give them that. Lashley murdering Morrison. Kicked Riddle in the dick. Right in the dick. Lashley just did a spear. That's 3 spears tonight. Roman, Edge, and Lashley. Way too much on the spears. If you're just joining the chat, we are watching Elimination Chamber on one screen. I have you guys in the chat in the other. Please feel free to jump in. We're just hanging out. We're just talking. No need to feel. Riddle with a huge corkscrew plancha. Springboard corkscrew, I'm sorry. Morrison runs him into it. No need to be, you know, worrisome. We're all cool here at Zach the Ripper Comics. Kick out by Riddle. John Morrison has never held the United States Championship. Matt Riddle has also never held it. But Riddle has held many titles, albeit that one. Morrison and Riddle doing some horrible chain reversals. Everything's fake. Where's the Fiend this evening? I don't see him in the back. I don't see him either. Riddle firing up a Morrison. Northern Light suplex. Northern Lights throw, I guess you would say, for these new kids. I don't like Riddle's character. I'm not a fan of what he does in the ring, but he is he works his ass off. I got to give him that. Still a douche. Bobby Lashley rolls back in. Riddle up top. Corkscrew plancha off the top. Completely misses Bobby Lashley, but Bobby sells it anyhow. Luckily, Morrison breaks that up. Morrison going for Starship Pain off the top rope onto Lashley. He hits it. Bobby Lashley kicks out. So far tonight, Daniel Bryan has won the Smackdown Elimination Chamber. He defeated Jey Uso as the final person. He went on to lose to Roman Reigns in the Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns choked Daniel Bryan out to win and to retain his title. And now we are in the third match of the evening for the United States Championship. Bobby Lashley, the champion, taking on John Morrison and Matt Riddle. John Morrison has MVP's crutch. Lashley catches him full Nelson. The hurt lock, I should say. Oh, Riddle wraps, oh my God, wrapped the crutch around him and then broke it on him. Riddle just hit his finish on Morrison. 1, 2, 3. Riddle just beat John Morrison to win the United States Championship. Bobby Lashley, the champion, was not even involved in the pinfall. Wow, I did not expect the title to change hands. Hate that it's on Riddle, but congrats to the guy and congrats to the WWE on creating a moment. Wait, DB choked Reigns out. Is that what I just heard? No, Roman Reigns choked Daniel Bryan out. If I said it backwards, I do apologize. Heather does not seem to be a fan. He murdered him with those crutch shots. Heather does not seem to be a fan of Riddle winning. Yeah, I'm not a fan either. So we have a new United States champion here at Elimination Chamber, and now a commercial for a horrendous mobile card game. For those of you watching, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit the like, the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I do live streams every so often. I will be doing a lot more. If you like this, let me know. I'll do every pay-per-view if you like. We could do Monday Night Raw, whatever you want to do. Tom Riddle, yes, Tom Riddle. And I have a barrage of comic book and video game and other professional wrestling content. I do a lot of nostalgia stuff. One of my new hit videos is Weekend Rentals, has over 8,000 views right now. I cannot thank you guys enough for watching it. So feel free to go check that out. Just trying to hit those nostalgia feels and do a flashback and that kind of thing. Voldemort. I don't know what you're talking about. I do comics, I do video games, I do wrestling. I do not do Lord of the Rings. I do this, though. Zach the Ripper Comics mug. Official Zach the Ripper Comics juice in there. Can't reveal what it is. And then we chase it with a little polar seltzer. Harry Pothead. Tom Riddle is Voldemort. Gotcha. Okay. Well, Matt Riddle's a pothead, so that works. So WrestleMania is a 2-night event this year. And in the United States, it will be exclusively on Peacock, as Peacock is absorbing the WWE network, I believe, as of March 26th. Looks like we're going to go into the women's tag team title match. If you have not watched my women's tag team title video that I released a few hours ago on YouTube, please go watch. There is a heavy rumor that I was able to receive about WWE retiring the women's tag team championships at or after WrestleMania. Go check that out. One half of the champions, Shayna Baszler, out first. Brand new gear. The gear looks good. I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. She reminds me of Michelle Rodriguez. And and maybe that's what it is, Letty from Fast and Furious, if you're not familiar. Her partner, I am not a fan of, both in the ring and out, Nia Jax. She's the other half of the women's tag team champions. They're announcing that it is official, Edge versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, first time ever, and it's for the Universal Championship. Nia Jax, just poor girl. Whatever her demons are that keep her the way she is, I hope she overcomes them. What are you umming? Edge is back. He returned last year in the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrant. And then this year he won the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble, and he officially chose to fight Roman Reigns at this year's WrestleMania earlier tonight when he shocked the world and speared Roman and pointed to the WrestleMania sign. So the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions are defending their belts against the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair. Sorry, I was distracted by the chamber. It feels quite obvious that they are going to do Bianca Belair choosing Sasha Banks as the champion of her choice to fight at WrestleMania, especially with teaming them up here tonight. I would not be opposed to that matchup. And I believe that if they do that, it will main event one of the two nights of WrestleMania, as it will be the first time ever, if they do this, that a female of, I'm sorry, 1 second. They're interviewing Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair right now. It would be the first time in history that two black women main evented WrestleMania. This would make huge history. I would love to see that. I think it has a chance with there being two nights of WrestleMania, much like last year when the Undertaker Boneyard match main evented one night and Drew McIntyre winning the championship from Brock Lesnar main evented the second night. Reginald, the former servant of Carmella, is now seemingly associated with Sasha Banks. I'm not sure what I missed there. If you guys could let me know in the chat if you know. Bianca Belair, she is an amazing performer, fantastic in the ring, awesome look, wears tights, wears boots, has a great gimmick. She's the EST of WWE, the greatest, the best. Anything you want to put EST on, it's her. And I actually like this tag team combination, and I'm hoping Sasha Banks turns on Bianca Belair either tonight or leading closer into WrestleMania, as Sasha Banks is a better heel. Bianca Belair as a babyface chasing Sasha Banks would be preferred. Aaron missed the Edge answer. YouTube is being garbage tonight. Edge returned at last year's Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. He returned at Royal Rumble 2020, lasted to the final 3 or 4, I believe. Had a program with Randy Orton all year long and won this year's Royal Rumble. And tonight speared Roman Reigns, pointed to the WrestleMania sign, and is choosing to fight Roman. This is a first time in history matchup. Edge and Roman have never touched in a ring before in a wrestling match capacity, as Edge was forced to retire in 2011 and Roman Reigns debuted with the Shield in 2012. So it's a big match. Edge still knows how to do it and do it better than anybody else and make money with it. So I think the ultra heel Roman against the, Rocky Balboa Edge coming back for that one last run is a really good story to tell for WrestleMania this year, especially when you have 2 days of WrestleMania. Sorry about that. You guys want to hear it? Yeah. Pound some Polar. I just hate when people come back because it makes their original send-off worthless. So I understand what you're saying with a guy like Edge or Daniel Bryan where they were forced to retire. Like, they didn't have a choice. It was, you're done. You can go wrestle somewhere else, but you are not going to get cleared by WWE. So they were forced to retire with literally like a day's notice. I feel like both of those guys who had that great send-off now are earning it by being able to come back in better shape than they were in ever previously and help out the current generation. Just like The Rock, when he came back in 2011, 2012, he came back and many people said that he should have never beaten CM Punk for the WWE Championship. And his goal was to get John Cena over, but John Cena was already way over. I feel like they kind of went off the rails with that whole thing. But I understand what you're saying. In this instance, I actually am okay with it, as I think Edge versus Roman Reigns will be absolutely fantastic. No one tells a story like Edge in the ring, and Roman has become so good as a heel that I think it'll be a money match. Nia just throwing Sasha Banks around, tagging out to Sasha, to the hell's her name? Shayna Baszler. Shayna has new gear, as I said earlier. Hangman's neckbreaker. Again, this is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. If you have not yet seen the video that I posted just hours ago about the Women's Tag Team Championships being retired either at or right after WrestleMania, please go check that out when this live stream is over. Leave a comment on that video. Let me hear your thoughts. A lot of people are at different ends of the spectrum. Some people think that because WWE can't tell a good story with the women's tag titles, that they should go away. Other people are livid about it and livid at me even reporting it. So go check it out. Let me know what you guys think. If you've already watched it, let me know in the chat here what you guys think of that. The fact that the women's tag titles tonight are literally 2 years old and they're thinking about and potentially and probably retiring them very soon. I feel like if they just put more effort into the creative, into their thought process and making women's tag teams, then would be more successful. They had some great tag teams like the Iconics and split them up for no reason. And now neither one of them can barely get TV time. Sasha Banks, the babyface in peril right now, taking the heat from the heels. So to recap this hour-and-a-half pay-per-view so far, the opening match, Smackdown Chamber, that Daniel Bryan defeated Jey Uso in as the final two to win the Chamber match and the right to face Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan, retained his championship after choking Daniel Bryan out. So the Tribal Chief, still the head of the table, still the Universal Champion. Edge returned, spear Roman Reigns, pointed to the WrestleMania sign, and it was made official that the Royal Rumble winner, Edge, will take Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37 at Raymond James Stadium this April 10th and 11th, I believe. Then we had the United States Championship match, Lashley defending against Matt Riddle and Keith Lee from the match due to an injury and replaced by John Morrison, who won a fatal four-way qualifying match on the kickoff show earlier this evening. Matt Riddle was able to hit his finishing maneuver, the bro something or other, on John Morrison while Lashley was outside the ring, get the pinfall, score the win, and win the United States Championship without even defeating the champion. Now we are in the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on the SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and the Royal Rumble winner Bianca Belair. If you're not able to watch the WWE Network feed, that's fine. I cannot show footage of it on the channels. I will get a copyright strike, but I am talking about it, and I will be talking about it for the next hour and a half, whatever it takes until the pay-per-view's done. Right, Aaron? Whatever it takes. Worst. That was the worst hot tag spot I have ever seen. Horrible. Whoop. Everything positive I said, completely out the window. Horrible. Sasha Blank tagged herself in, blind, if I can talk. Sasha Banks on the top rope. Barely a frog splash. Kick out by Shayna Baszler. Oh, just completely overbooked and convoluted. If you are watching with me, please feel free to mention anything you want in the chat. Let me know you're here so I can give you a shout out. All super chats, all super stickers are acknowledged by me. Do not worry about that. If for some reason I miss your super chat or if I miss your super sticker, let me know. Holler and scream at me in the chat as I am constantly looking at it, and I will give you the shout out and read whatever your question is. Nia Snax tagged in. Bianca Belair firing up on her. Bianca Belair trying to lift Nia Jax up. It's a hefty feat. When did the Ron Simmons spine buster become the norm spine buster? I've seen 3 of them done his style tonight. I like it. I just don't need to see 3 in an hour and a half. People should have individual movesets that cannot be used by anybody else in the company. It used to be that way. I don't know why it changed. Makes no sense. Usually because people are trying to have the best match instead of tell a good story. Reginald comes down the ringside, seemingly distracting Sasha Banks accidentally. She's able to get the Banks statement in on Nia Jax. Banks statement, if I can talk. Reginald has the champagne ready. Nia is trying to crawl to the ropes as her wig is coming off. Nia reaches the ropes, so the hold must be broken. He rolls the bottle into Sasha to tell her to hit Nia with it. Sasha's thinking about it. Oh, my God. Horrible, horrible clothesline. Samoan drop from Nia Jax on Sasha Banks. And the women's tag team champions retain. So Reginald inadvertently cost Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair the women's tag team championship. Again, one last plug for it. If you have not seen my women's tag team championship video that I posted earlier today on YouTube on the channel, please go check that out, as there is a heavy rumor that was kind of snuck into my ear that WWE will be retiring the women's tag team championships at or right after WrestleMania. Go check that video out. Let me know in the comments on that video what your thoughts are. Are you happy about it, sad about it, mad about it, whatever. Bianca and Shayna arguing with Reginald. Easy for me to say, Reginald right now. And we go to black. Commercial. What's going on in the chat? For any of you guys that are just now showing up, I'm Zach the Ripper Comics, professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast, and I am watching WWE Elimination Chamber 2021 live right now. I cannot show the screen as I will get a copyright strike, but I am hanging out. I am talking to you guys. I am engaging with the chat. I have you guys over here, the pay-per-view over here. If you're able to watch it, throw that WWE Network on, put it on in the background, hang out in the chat. Any super chats, any super stickers will be acknowledged. If you do not have the WWE Network, hang out anyhow. I'm talking about the pay-per-view as it happens. I give results, so if you do not want spoilers, then this is not the place for you. Those of you that are in here, you get the exclusive news that I have a theory video on WandaVision hitting tomorrow. You will see that pop up on your feed. Give that a watch. It's a theory I have concerning WandaVision that no one else is talking about yet. And I have a theory as to why they're not talking about it. Check that out. It's a good video. It's a fun watch. There's some funny stuff in there. So Fastlane is the next pay-per-view. Again, too many pay-per-views in between the Rumble and WrestleMania. March 21st, the WWE Network and Peacock. As the United States, in the United States, NBC has purchased the rights to the WWE Network, and it will merge with Peacock. If you're interested in details on that, let me know in the chat, and I can give you full details, as I do know them. I did a video on it just a couple weeks ago. Tonight's theme song is And So It Went by the Pretty Reckless. Earlier tonight, when the pay-per-view came on and they were playing it, I said that it was a good song. I feel like it is. It works for a pay-per-view. It's, you know, gritty female angst metal. And it is time for the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. So I am assuming that this one is going to be another hour-plus long match. So they're showing the vignette of everything that led to this matchup here tonight. And the one thing that they keep reiterating is that Drew McIntyre has led WWE through uncharted times. And that's true. I mean, technically, Drew has yet to compete in front of a crowd since winning the championship at WrestleMania and winning it back just a couple weeks ago. He's a two-time champion that has never competed in front of a crowd since being that top guy. So it's very interesting. I mean, he's technically the lowest drawing champion in history because they haven't drawn anybody. But at the same time, they're the most profitable they've ever been. So he's kind of right. This chamber is Drew McIntyre inside the chamber defending his title against 5 former champions. Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, and somebody else that I can't remember right now. And Sheamus was the last one I forgot. It seemed like they were just going to do straight up Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus originally at tonight's pay-per-view, but instead they held that off, which would make you think that perhaps that's going to be WrestleMania. I don't think there's interest in Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus at WrestleMania, though. Thank you to those of you that are in the chat right now that are watching the video. Again, I can't show footage from the pay-per-view. It is right over here for copyright purposes. Right now, we are getting set with the vignette for the WWE Championship Chamber match. The chamber has come down. Hopefully, it is not as long as the other chamber match was. Zach the Ripper Comics mug action, if I can figure this out. And then chase that with a little polar. They are explaining the rules of the chamber again. We already saw a chamber match earlier tonight. I don't get it. Regularly scheduled intervals. It used to be 2 minutes. Now it's Titan time. Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, is out first, which means he will go into a pod and not start the match. What do you guys think of Drew McIntyre's new entrance, bringing back the kilt, bringing out Vince McMahon's personal sword from his actual office as an heirloom of his Scottish history? I personally like it a lot better than the drabby indie leather jacket that he wore. I said this at the beginning too. I have to reiterate it. They've done such an amazing job with the Thunderdome. No one else on television has gotten the screens right like WWE has. They set up an entire arena inside of a stadium. The Thunderdome has won awards, and as it should. This is fantastic. If we ever got into a society where we couldn't go back to arenas, WWE has the right idea, and they have it made right now. AJ Styles out next, so he will also go into a pod. Omos is freaking huge. Smart move to put him with AJ Styles too, because AJ Styles is a smaller, shorter guy. He's like that tough bulldog, but this tough bulldog has a 7-foot Omos with him. Where do you see my O? Where do you see my mas? Where do you see my O? Where do you see my Omos? Everybody's going to tune out now. think what we'll do is we'll add a little bit more to the Zack the Ripper Comics mug. There it is. Here comes Kofi Kingston. Sans wrestling shoes, sans wrestling tights, boots, sans kick pads, sans a chest. He just looks like he has tight joggers on now. I mean, it works for him. He's in the chamber match for the WWE Championship, presumably the main event. I wish he wore regular gear again. I can't take him serious. Again, favorite moment in SmackDown history, Brock Lesnar absolutely squashing him in like 7 seconds. So Sheamus is out next, so he will be the final entrant inside of the pods. Which tells us that Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy will be starting the match. What's up with this chat? I think my chat is frozen. Chat, let me know if you're hearing me right now and seeing me. It looks like the chat is frozen. It says I'm still good, but the chat itself looks frozen for some reason. Heather hears me. Okay. Thank you, Heather. Heather, who's your pick to win this match? Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, or Jeff Hardy? Drew McIntyre, they've marketed him as the guy that steered the company in these uncharted times and as like the most defending champion for the first time since Bret Hart. And I think that's a good thing to do with him. Jeff Hardy, I just could not care less about being in this match. Being employed, being in the business. Drew McIntyre in first, out last. That's what she said. First of all. Second of all, yeah, Drew's not losing the belt. Jeff Hardy is an absolute dork. Yeah. Woo! I cannot stand baby faces that are happy to be there, clapping. Come on. You're competing in one of the most vicious matches in history for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton's snake is coming at my face. That'll probably get clipped. Randy Orton coming out. Again, he and Jeff Hardy will start the match. Never was a Jeff Hardy fan. Neither was I. Heather, who is David's pick for this match? You have to expect that Alexa Bliss and The Fiend return here tonight. He also chose Drew. So for those of you that have just joined, we are watching the WWE pay-per-view Elimination Chamber. Right now, it's the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. They're doing their entrances, which lasts way too long. We will be getting into it shortly. I cannot show any footage for copyright purposes. I do have the screen over here. I do have the chat over here. Heather says that her husband wants to see Jeff Hardy get his ass kicked. I can second that thought. So we have Drew Fire. We have Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston in the main event of Elimination Chamber in an Elimination Chamber match. But you have to expect that The Fiend returns tonight. I don't think he will, because I think they'll try and save it for Raw to pop some numbers, but he should return tonight. Zach the Ripper Comics mug. Pew. And Polar Black Cherry as the chaser. Daniel Bryan won the Smackdown Chamber, earned the right to face Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan by chokeout to retain the championship. Edge returned, speared Roman Reigns, making it clear that he was choosing Roman as his opponent for WrestleMania. First time ever matchup there. Bobby Lashley lost the United States Championship without ever having been pinned, without ever having been pinned, as Matt Riddle hit his finish on John Morrison, who was replacing an injured Keith Lee. John Morrison won a fatal four-way on the kickoff show to earn the right into that matchup. The SmackDown Women's Tag Team Champions retained their belts when Reginald inadvertently cost Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair their match. The match, Asuka defending against Lacey Evans, was seemingly called off due to Lacey Evans being pregnant. So here we are in the main event. It's probably why everything seems to be running long. You have an entire company full of guys you could have put another match on. Orton fighting Hardy right now is the first two. Heather Klein in the chat predicts that Drew will be the first one in from the pods and will retain the title, thus being the last one out. Her husband thinks the same. I do think Drew will retain the championship. I do not think he'll be the first one in, though. For those of you that are just joining, hop in the chat. We're just hanging out. We're watching the entire WWE Elimination Chamber 2021 pay-per-view. Again, I cannot show any footage of it. I have it over here, copyright purposes. I have you guys over here in the chat. I see that some of you are joining, and I just want to say thank you. Welcome. This is something new that I'm doing as far as watching the pay-per-views and watching the professional wrestling live. I am professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast, Zach the Ripper Comics. You can find my channel through this video. I do a ton of comic book, video game, and professional wrestling videos. And there's also some matches of mine up there against the likes of Devon Dudley, D'Lo Brown, Carlito, Shane Douglas, a ton of other awesome, awesome talents. Feel free to go check all that out. Like the videos, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. I do have a brand new video coming out tomorrow around a theory I have that no one's talking about relating to WandaVision. You're not going to want to miss that. Jeff Hardy is in a rear chin lock of Randy Orton in an Elimination Chamber match. Randy Orton has a rear chin lock in an Elimination Chamber match. Fuck off. horrible. I find Jeff Hardy's offense incredibly annoying. It's just the most pointless body flops. Pound in some Polar Black Cherry. Jeff Hardy off the second rope with a splash on Orton. Orton kicks out at 2, of course. The second rope splash is not going to defeat Randy Orton ever. All right, here we are. 10-second countdown. Now we're back to the normal time frames, it seems. All right. Drum roll. Worst drum roll ever. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. Drew McIntyre. Heather and Dave Klein predicted that correct. Drew McIntyre, first one in. Good job, guys. Drew McIntyre firing up on everybody. Squashing Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. Literally squashing in the corner. McIntyre running Orton into the chain link of the chamber. Shoving Randy Orton's face right into that. Moments like this are a shame that there's no blood, because you can't really do that spot without there being blood and have it be believable, unfortunately. I'm sure it hurts like hell and nothing to show for it, which as a wrestler, that sucks. Northern Light suplex on Jeff Hardy on the floor outside the ring, which has zero give whatsoever. It is steel grating with rubber mats on top. Not cushy rubber mats either. Drew McIntyre darts Jeff Hardy into the pod. Could barely hold him. If you're interested in this mug or a barrage of other products, t-shirts, hoodies, fanny packs, leggings, dog sweaters, go into the description of this very video, hit up the Teesprings link. You'll see like 50 different products. Zach the Ripper Comics mask right there, mug right here, the Yarn family right there, my DCW championship right there. We follow that up. Polar Seltzer, Black Cherry. Neck breaker on Drew McIntyre from Randy Orton. It's not going to get the job done. He kicks out, of course. Countdown is on. 10 seconds. Let's see who is next. Chat, who do you think is going to be coming out next? It's got to be a heel. I'm going to say AJ. Doesn't have to be a heel because it's Kofi Kingston. I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll blame it on One Love. Kofi Kingston with the G4 logo on his tights. If you're unfamiliar with that is, in the 90s, early 2000s, there was a video game cable station called G4 where they covered video games. Excuse me, Kofi Kingston just eliminated Randy Orton. Randy Orton with the RKO on Kofi Kingston. That was unexpected. Good job, WWE. Almost is ripping the glass off of the chamber so that AJ Styles can leave his pod. I don't know where he's going. He's face-to-face with Orton. Orton not touching AJ. AJ's getting in the match, covering Kofi Kingston. Kofi kicks out. AJ with some brand new gear on. I like it. Cover on Hardy. Hardy kicks out. Adam Pearce throwing almost out of the match, almost looking like he wants to break character and laugh. I will admit that was a really cool moment. Breaking the pod, escaping, getting in through the front door early. Why not? There's no disqualification. Tornado DDT from Kofi Kingston from inside the ring onto the outside floor, onto AJ Styles. Drew McIntyre firing up on Jeff Hardy. Randy Orton still the only one eliminated. Only one person left in the pods. It is Sheamus. McIntyre pushes Jeff Hardy onto the pod. He goes down. Kofi Kingston SOS on Drew. Drew kicks out at 2. Going back to G4, it went away as gaming wasn't as big as it is now, and it is coming back in an internet-only television show starring Xavier Woods of the New Day. So all the New Day guys got the G4 logo on their tights as a tribute to their guy, which is very cool. Check out Xavier Woods or Austin Creed on YouTube, Up, Down, Down Gaming. And go over to G4, give them a sub if you're into video games. Jeff Hardy still down on the outside. AJ Styles firing up on Kofi on the inside. Brainbuster. You do not see that often nowadays in WWE. Looked beautiful from AJ, as most of his stuff does. My only issue with Omos getting AJ out of his pod early to enter the match is that it should have led to the elimination of somebody. I feel like it's pointless now because he would have come in anyhow. So he got the jump start getting in, but it didn't get him anywhere. Kofi firing up on AJ on the outside. Monkey flip AJ into the steel chain link fence. If you're just joining, I appreciate you guys stopping by, coming in. I am Zach the Ripper Comics, professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast. I'm doing a live stream watch along with the Elimination Chamber over here on this screen. I cannot show it for copyright purposes on this channel. However, I will talk about it. I am talking about it. There are spoilers. Over here on this screen is the live chat. Everybody's active in there doing their thing. If anybody does a super chat or a super sticker, first off, I'm humbled and I appreciate it. Second, I will give you a shout out live on the channel. If you do, I will read your comment live. If for some reason I don't see it, light me up in there and I will eventually see it. I promise. I do not skip anybody. We are on the main event, the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. So far, the only person eliminated has been Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre suplexed Kofi into the chain link fence, looked horrible, and then just dropped him on the floor, which looked pretty bad. So as a rundown of tonight's results so far, Daniel Bryan won the Smackdown Chamber match to open the show, defeating Jey Uso last. He went on to lose by chokeout to Roman Reigns directly following the Chamber match. Edge returned, speared Roman Reigns to set up the WrestleMania Championship match for the Universal title between the Royal Rumble winner Edge and the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. First time ever as Edge retired in 2011. Roman Reigns debuted in 2012. These two guys have never had the chance to fight. Very stoked for that. That is an absolute WrestleMania main event. From there, Keith Lee was removed from the United States Championship match due to health reasons and was replaced by John Morrison, who won a fatal four-way on the kickoff show to earn this right to be in this match. Matt Riddle pinned John Morrison to win the United States Championship from champion Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley was not even involved in the pinfall, so obviously you know that's going somewhere. The women's tag team championships were on the line and retained by the champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler when they beat the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair as we have a countdown clock due to interference from Reginald. You have to believe they're going to go with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, which I would love to see. Sheamus is now out. Everybody is out of their pods. Drew McIntyre's welcoming him into the ring. They had a 20-year friendship. Sheamus turned on him recently. I like this storyline. I just don't think it holds enough weight to main event WrestleMania. They're beating the ever-living hell out of each other, which I love to see. Drew McIntyre backing Sheamus up in the corner. Sheamus reverses, punches to the gut. Drew McIntyre the back. Just clubbing each other. It's funny that in modern wrestling, they're known as super heavyweights instead of just heavyweights. Kofi Kingston mounting a comeback. Jeff Hardy still in the matchup, mounting a comeback. Drew and Sheamus eliminated both of those two, not from the matchup, just from the ring, so they could once more fight each other inside it. They're doing very, very basic stuff, which really leads me to believe that this is going to be your WrestleMania WWE Championship match. Clothesline over the top. They both go over together. Cactus line, kind of. Everybody's down and out on the floor right now. Kofi's back up. AJ's getting up. So, chat, it seems like most of you chose Drew McIntyre to win. Who do you think will be the final participant that Drew McIntyre has to eliminate to win this match and retain his championship. Kofi Kingston top rope splash down onto the two super heavyweights, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Sheamus. Good old Sheamus. Good old Sheamus. So you're picking Sheamus to be the last guy in there with him. Sheamus and Kingston in the ring right now. Sheamus. Kofi Kingston slides to the floor on the outside of the ring. Nifty spot. They can't usually do that normally because there's no floor right there. Going to the top. Sheamus cuts him off. Sheamus going up probably for white noise from the second. Yep. Sheamus going for white noise. Kofi fighting it off. We get a really cool view from the top of the chamber. Kofi kicks Sheamus off. Kofi driving. Climbing to the top of the pod. Sheamus is back on the top rope. Drew McIntyre cuts Sheamus off. Kofi's on the top of the pod. Sheamus just got nutted on the top turnbuckle. Big yikes. Big yikes. Sheamus is crouched on the top rope. Drew McIntyre is lighting up AJ Styles. Drew climbing to the second. Drew going for a superplex off the top on Sheamus. Here comes AJ Styles to cut Drew McIntyre off. Jeff Hardy, who I forgot existed in life. Double powerbomb with the superplex. Tower of Doom spot. I like it. And remember, Kofi Kingston on that pod. Starting to slur my words a little bit. It's not alcohol, by the way. So the crowd, the Thunderdome's chanting is awesome. For those of you in the chat that were not here earlier, if you did not already know, the Thunderdome is an amazing setup. It's won a ton of awards. The audience participation that we're hearing as the viewer, they do not hear in that arena. That is piped in from the truck. The wrestlers hear nothing but themselves talking and the ring announcers right now. Kofi Kingston with the worst dive in history from the top rope or the top of the pod. Everybody was standing there to catch him. Who cares? Stupid. He's covering Sheamus. 1, 2, kick out. Covering Jeff Hardy. Ref's not looking. 1, 2, kick out. Referee Matt Bennett, personal friend of Zach the Ripper Comics. Cover on Drew. Drew kicks out at 1. Good job, Drew. Why are they're doing a replay of the horrible dive by Kofi Kingston. So far, the only person eliminated was Randy Orton, and that was by Kofi Kingston. I believe it was the SOS roll-up. We are 2 hours and 16 minutes into this pay-per-view, into this live stream. Thank you, everybody that has given the video a thumbs up, has participated in the chat. Aaron says, okay, Ripper, I'm going to bow out. My bedtime. Thank you for hanging out, Aaron. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Good night. And we're still going. We will go until it's over. Whatever it takes. Sheamus off the ropes. Huge bro kick on Kofi. That has to be it. 1, 2, 3. Kofi Kingston eliminated. We're now down to Sheamus, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion. I honestly think that Jeff Hardy should have been eliminated probably by AJ when he broke the pod. Kofi worked his ass off in this match. Jeff hasn't really done anything. Twist of Fate on Sheamus, who rolls out of the ring. Twist of Fate on Drew McIntyre, who sells it perfect. Why wouldn't AJ break that up? He just stood there. Twist of Fate on AJ. AJ sets up perfectly for what's probably going to be a swanton. Hardy takes the shirt off. Nobody cares because he's, older now. Jeff Hardy on the top of the pod for the swanton. Nope. Instead, he does. Instead, he turns backwards and for some reason jumps onto Sheamus and Drew, who were just standing there waiting. AJ rolled to the other side of the ring. Jeff Hardy climbing up to the other side of the top rope. Swanton on AJ. Another bro kick on Jeff. Pin him, pin him, pin him, pin him. Not a bro kick, I'm sorry. Claymore. Drew McIntyre wins with the I'm sorry. Woo! Spoiler alert. Just kidding. Drew McIntyre eliminates Jeff Hardy with the Claymore kick. We are down to 3. AJ Styles, Sheamus, and the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. Official Zach the Ripper Comics mug. The Ripper Comics face mask. Zach the Ripper Comics figure display. Where's Chris Wilde? Why isn't he in here? Dick. Chris Wilde should be in here. If any of you know Chris Wilde or don't know Chris Wilde, go check out his Philadelphia Eagles, Philadelphia Sports channel, Eagles News Now on YouTube. You can find him easily on there. Type in Eagles News Now. He'll come right up. Fantastic channel, not just for sports. Does figure unboxings and talks about professional wrestling, as he is a professional wrestler himself. He regularly competes on WWE television, so go check him out. Give him a like, give him a follow. He is also a former DCW champion. Boop, boop, boop. One of the best in DCW history. Again, we're down to 3. Sheamus, AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion. Springboard flip from AJ onto Drew. There's no way he's going to. Drew kicks out at 2, as he should. I cannot stand when Drew McIntyre does the bright eye cell. That all started at WrestleMania 25 with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I wish they would have never done it. It's annoying. Sell anger, sell emotion, sell pain. Do not sell surprise. Sheamus absolutely annihilating AJ's chest with the 10 beats of the Bowery on the ropes. Absolutely vicious. Sid Vicious. Sheamus throws AJ into the chain link fence, which hurts way more than it looks like. Sheamus going to the top. Still up at the top. Jumping off. Flying clothesline. Calling for the bro kick. We are 2 hours and 23 minutes into this pay-per-view, into Elimination Chamber, into this live stream. Drew McIntyre, future shot DDT on Sheamus. Sheamus rolls out. Story of the match so far with him. Every time he takes a bump, he rolls to the outside. Smart strategy, smart psychology. Drew McIntyre, horrible psychology, decides to crawl back to the corner instead of going for the cover. You use the same amount of effort to do that. It doesn't make sense. Bro kick on Drew that completely missed. Phenomenal forearm on Sheamus. AJ with the cover on Sheamus. 3. AJ Styles eliminates Sheamus. It's now down AJ Styles and the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. Sorry, clients. Sheamus had an amazing showing in this match. If they are going to give him the championship match at WrestleMania, they did an amazing job of getting him ready, getting him back over again and strong for that match. Styles went for the phenomenal forearm. Drew was able to claymore him in the air, a little sloppy. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre retains the championship. Now, with it being 9:25, 2 hours and 25 minutes into the pay-per-view, I'm going to assume that The Miz is going to attempt to cash in on Drew McIntyre. As you have to remember that Drew McIntyre has been feuding with The Miz. The Miz is the Money in the Bank holder and has that guaranteed championship match anytime between now and June's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Sloppy, devastating, did the job. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre retains, as most people thought he would. For those of you just joining, I am doing a live stream of the pay-per-view. We've been in here for 2 hours and 26 minutes. Drew McIntyre just retained the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber main event. I cannot show the footage for copyright issues. Feel free to hang out. Let me know you're here. Say something in the chat. If anybody does a super chat or a super sticker, I will give you a shout out and read what you say on the air. Pounding that puller. Bobby Lashley with a spear, 4th one tonight, on Drew McIntyre. Lashley pissed off, obviously, that he lost his United States Championship without actually losing it. I love this because this shows that Lashley's going to get that main event push. These two had an excellent match last year. I believe it was Backlash in one of Drew's first title defenses or his first title defense. You have to assume that this beatdown on McIntyre from Lashley is going to result in The Miz coming out. Lashley rolls him back in. STO onto Lashley, or onto McIntyre, I'm sorry. Putting him in the Hurt Lock, that full Nelson. Followed by a Uranagi slam. Lashley standing tall over Drew McIntyre. Is this WrestleMania? Is this our WrestleMania WWE Championship? Here comes The Miz. Here comes The Miz with the referee in tow and the Money in the Bank. Here we go. The Miz had removed himself from the chamber match just 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, replaced by Kofi Kingston, as he said he should not have to compete in the chamber match. Makes sense psychology-wise, should have never been put in it. And here he is, cashing in the Money in the Bank. As soon as Drew McIntyre gets to his feet, the bell will ring. The bell has rung. This match is official. Miz with the DDT on Drew. Drew kicks out. Ten years ago, The Miz cashed in on Randy Orton on Monday Night Raw in December of 2010 to win his first and only WWE Championship. Skull-crushing finale on Drew McIntyre. Rolls him over with the cover. 1, 2, 3. The Miz is the new WWE champion. He cashed in successfully on Drew McIntyre. Wow. Wow. Good job, WWE. Congratulations, Miz. Ten years later, he wins the championship again. 10 years. That's a long career. Not to mention the years that he had before that. Take these PlayStation 5 beautiful Pulse wireless headset off. Interesting pay-per-view. So to recap, Daniel Bryan won the men's Smackdown Elimination Chamber match for the right to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns immediately came out. They had their match. Roman Reigns choked Daniel Bryan out to retain his championship. Edge returns, spears Roman Reigns, points to the WrestleMania sign. We found out later in the show it's official. For the first time in history, Edge, the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble, will face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 37 in Tampa Bay in Raymond James Stadium. Huge matchup that I'm very much looking forward to. Absolutely should main event one of the two nights. From there, we had the United States Championship match where John Morrison replaced Keith Lee. Again, if you're just tuning in, Keith Lee was injured, unable to compete. They had a four-way on the kickoff show to determine his replacement. John Morrison won that right. Matt Riddle pinned John Morrison in the three-way to win Bobby Lashley's United States Championship. The women's tag team champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, defeated the women's Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair, and the WWE Women's SmackDown champion, Sasha Banks, after Reginald inadvertently distracted Sasha Banks. That was a bad one. That was a bad match, and it shouldn't have been. But it was bad. And it seems like they're going to go the route of Bianca Belair challenging Sasha Banks. Hopefully Sasha Banks turns heel. Hopefully Reginald becomes her little assistant like he was for Carmella. Not sure why he's not for Carmella. She might work into the match somehow. I'd like to see the two of them main event one of the two nights at WrestleMania, because it would be the first time in history that two black women main event WrestleMania. And I think that's worth making that point. It's worth making that history. That's something that can only be done one time. From there, the Raw Women's Championship match was canceled due to Lacey Evans becoming pregnant. They did not give any kind of a replacement for Asuka. On the kickoff show, they basically said, Charlie Caruso said, that there would be a replacement, and there wasn't. They just skipped the match altogether, went right into the men's Raw WWE Championship chamber match, in which Drew McIntyre won and retained his title. Following the match, as you just saw, Bobby Lashley annihilates Drew McIntyre. This allows The Miz to come out, successfully cash in his Money in the Bank to win the WWE Championship for the second time in his career, 10 years after the first. He main evented at WrestleMania 27, and we are in 2 months going into WrestleMania 37. Wow. With that, I want to thank everybody for coming in, everybody for tuning in to the chat tonight, to the live stream. I know these aren't perfect. I had to do a little bit of a different setup. I couldn't show any of the footage for copyright purposes of the pay-per-view. I hope you guys still enjoyed yourselves. For those of you that hit the super chats, I really appreciate it. I love giving you guys the shout-outs. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And speaking of supporting the channel, go in the description below. Check out my Patreon page. By becoming a patron of Zach the Ripper Comics, you get all kinds of cool exclusive merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, fanny packs, bags, all kinds of stuff. And it's all courtesy of the Teespring store of Zach the Ripper Comics, which is in the description below. You can buy all kinds of merch. There's a Zach the Ripper Comics mask right there. There's a Zach the Ripper Comics mug right here. You can't buy this, but it's a Zach the Ripper Comics figure display. All kinds of cool stuff that you can find on there. Go check out my eBay store if you're interested in comic books in any way whatsoever. I have tons of comic books up there, almost 200 up there weekly. They're rotating in and out. As quick as they sell, I put more books up there. Most of the books start at just 99 cents in auction style. Bazooka Joe's here. Thank you for coming, Bazooka Joe. The pay-per-view ended about 5 minutes ago, so I'm just wrapping everything up right now, but I do appreciate you stopping in. Shout out to Bazooka. He is the West Coast portion of Hard Candy, as he is somewhere. I'm not going to give out his exact location. I'm not Chris Wilde. But welcome to the chat nonetheless, Joe. They switched the WWE Championship from Drew McIntyre back to The Miz, his first time winning that title since 2010, 10 years ago. Wow. And please don't forget to like the Facebook page of Zach the Ripper Comics. Look us up on there. Go to the Instagram, find us on there, and last but not least, give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate everybody that did so far. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just give me a chance. I talk about professional wrestling, I talk about comic books, and I talk about video games. I have a video coming tomorrow about a theory I have about WandaVision and a certain character that no one's talking about right now, and I don't know why nobody has brought this up. You do not want to miss that. I'm a professional wrestler myself. You can find videos on my YouTube channel of me wrestling the likes of D'Lo Brown, Shane Douglas, and Devon Dudley of the famous Dudley Boys. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Miz, who looks like polio string cheese, is your new WWE champion in 2021. That's where we are. With that, thank you, everybody. Shout out to everybody that joined. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the super stickers. Thank you for just hanging out while we drank some beverages. Heather Klein says bye. Take care, Kleins. And don't forget, tomorrow, the WandaVision video. Later this week, we do another Let's Read. This time, not from Wizard Magazine, but perhaps Nintendo Power or maybe GamePro. We'll see. And we have another favorite of the channel, Weekend Rentals, coming this week. You guys loved it. It has over 8,000 views right now. I can't thank you enough, but I do appreciate it. So we will get another Weekend Rentals video out to you. With that, have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the pay-per-view. Until next time. See you guys.